Is the EveryDollar budgeting app better than a spreadsheet? I'm Tommy Tindall, personal finance writer at NerdWallet, and I have been partial to the spreadsheet for years, but I'm growing hip to the conveniences of using a budgeting app. The two hardest parts of making a budget are getting started and sticking with it, and I think EveryDollar can help with both. Now, this is an app we feature in our Best Budget Apps article, and it's well rated on the App Store. Now, the EveryDollar app is part of the Ramsey Solutions family of personal finance resources, and it is an app that is based on the popular zero-based budgeting framework. This is where you make a plan for every dollar you make, because how are you going to save any money if you don't make a plan for every little baby dollar you make? Terrible impressions aside, zero-based budgeting is a really good practice for personal finances because it essentially makes you CFO, Chief Financial Officer of you. You're looking at your income every month and you are allocating every dollar to important expenses, whether that's for bills, planned purchases, paying off debt, or even making automatic savings transfers. Using an app like EveryDollar can help you make that a habit, the habit of looking at every dollar that you earn and allocating it to things, and also tracking what you spend. Let's talk about how EveryDollar works. Now, think of your budget as your monthly spend plan, but to get there, you start EveryDollar like other budgeting apps by answering a series of questions about your financial goals, and your answers to those questions will inform the initial line items or expense categories you see in your budget. And I think this is why a lot of people like using budgeting apps, because it gives you a good place to start, unlike opening up a blank spreadsheet. Here's how the app looks when you get started. You have line items for income, then various categories of expenses and other ways you can disperse your dollars. I want to note here that I am doing this on the desktop version of this app, which for me is easier to use than trying to pull this information into my phone. I've added my expected income for the month, then forecasted common recurring expenses like my housing and utilities, groceries, and eating out. Now, these numbers are just for play, but you can get really detailed by adding and arranging line items just like you do in a spreadsheet, but no formula is necessary here. Inevitably, this step is going to take some work on your part, and you can make it easier on yourself by having some information at your disposal, like your credit card app, so you can look at recurring transactions, you can look at your checking account statements to see what sort of bills come out of that regularly, and that'll give you a good picture of your expenses throughout the month. And hopefully it won't change, it'll be pretty constant. But once you do that, you got a budget, you're done, right? Not so fast. This budgeting app is only going to work well if you track your actual spending against this budget that you've made. So it's kind of like my wife and I. At the beginning of every month, we set our credit card limits for each other. Let's say mine is $500 for my fun month, and hers is double that because she's got hair, eyebrows, and nails, and all that sort of stuff. But inevitably, at the end of the month, I'm like, "Hun, how come you're $2,000 over budget? What happened?" Or she's asking me the same question. And that's because we are missing the critical step of actually monitoring our spending in real time instead of just looking at it at the end of the month. And I think with EveryDollar, this app will work best if you use the feature where you log your transactions and monitor your spending throughout the month. You got to do that. So let's say you go to the grocery store and spend $150. Well, you better add that transaction before you drive away to make sure you're staying on budget for food bills. I'm doing that manually here. How was the steak dinner? I bet it was good, but you got to log it to know your cash flow. Did you splurge on some sneakers you saw in a social media ad? Log it and put it in the clothing category. That's an expense. The basic version of EveryDollar is free. This is the version I've been using to test it, and I think it's pretty good. You can make your life a little easier by paying for premium, because when you pay for premium, you can link bank and credit card accounts, which means your transactions will automatically flow into the app, so you have them there, but you'll still need to drag and categorize them against your budget like I showed you in the demo. You can get other features too with premium, like goal setting and custom reports. Now, the cost of premium is currently $79.99 a year or $17.99 a month, and you can start with a 14-day free trial if you want to see if you like it or not. But really the big takeaway here is your budgeting success with EveryDollar hinges on you going in and logging those transactions against your budget. And again, using the premium version, linking your accounts may make that easier. Let's talk about the pros and cons of the EveryDollar budgeting app. First, the pros. The number one thing is this is a very easy app to use. I think it's a great way for people to get started with a budget. And yes, I do think it's easier than starting with a blank spreadsheet. Second, it's resourceful. There's a lot of resources within this app to help you get better with money and learn about personal finance. And third, I think if you do this app the right way by making a budget and logging your transactions appropriately, you're going to have a very clear picture of where your money is going and can probably spot some ways to save. Now, on the cons side of things, I think the number one con is cost. You have to pay for simple extras like linking bank and credit card accounts to see those transactions automatically. That can be a struggle for some. And also, I think the discipline that's required to use this app can be a con as well, because it's going to be tedious to get in there and log those transactions on a regular basis. Some might find it hard to do. I think I might be in that camp. I don't know if I would be able to do that every day. So who is this app for? Well, I think it can be for anybody, especially the free version, because it's a very straightforward, easy way to get started with a budget, and that's a good thing. Is it worth paying for premium? Well, I think that's something that you got to decide on your own. Is the tediousness of having to manually enter your transactions, log your transactions, going to get the best of you? Is it worth the convenience of having those transactions automatically flow in when you link your accounts? That's something you have to decide. I think one way to decide is, does this app help you save enough money to justify paying $80 a year for it? Of course, there are plenty of other budgeting app options to check out. YNAB, for example, is another app that follows the zero-based budgeting framework. If you're looking at EveryDollar, you probably want to check out YNAB too. In my opinion, I think EveryDollar is a little easier to get up and running, but there are a lot of people who swear by YNAB. In fact, we did a video review on it. We will put that right here or down here. You'll find it. It'll be linked somewhere. And while you're at it, check out our best budget apps roundup article on nerdwallet.com. And don't forget to download the NerdWallet app. It does budgeting too, for free. Now, good luck saving money. I'm Tommy Tindall, personal finance writer at NerdWallet. If you like this video and want to see more reviews of budgeting apps, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.